Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nordic and Marc podcast. Why are you laughing, Marcus? It is episode number 4 here. I am joined with Marcus, aka at Marcuzzi_. I'm actually Nork97. At Nork97 pretty much everywhere. And we're joining with a guest. We're never here with 3 people, but today we are. This is CellyCenter, aka Chris, I think, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, how you doing today? How you doing tonight, actually?
I'm doing all right. Just got done watching the game. Glad to be here. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Oh, yeah. So, first off, before we get into the Stanley Cup final game 1 discussion, because we kind of took a hiatus, where can the people find you, CellyCenter? Because to be honest, I don't know where I can find you besides your YouTube channel. So I'm not trying to be a dick, but
No, you're all good.
So
you're all good.
Basically, I'll just put what you say in the podcast description. So where can people find you?
Sounds good. So I have a TikTok account, Instagram account, Twitter account, and YouTube channel, all with the same handle, CellyCenter. You can find me there. I post pretty much once a week on YouTube, around the same on TikTok. I post different kinds of NHL 21 content, things like that. I love talking about hockey, stuff like that. So it's pretty much what I do.
All right, nice.
Quality over quantity.
And I'm sure I don't want to be a dick and not ask how Marcus is doing on this fine night. How are you doing, Marcus?
I'm glad Montreal lost. I will say that.
Oh God.
Of course.
I'm just gonna say that because I'm staying true to my roots. Somebody asked me like, yo, why can't you just root for the Canes? I'm just like, nope, can't do it. Never in a million years. I can't do it. I can't. I'd much rather see a team that's about to have like the worst bank problems in the world, like win a Stanley Cup and never have to do it again, than just see Montreal do it. So let's get into it.
Yeah, I always root for the underdogs. So without further ado, let's get into game 1. So game 1 was a pretty, I'd say it was a pretty lopsided game. Final score, 5-1 Tampa. Goals were scored by Eric Chernak, Yanni Gourde, Ben Sherratt, 2 by Nikita Kucherov, who you can say what you want, and Steven Stamkos, who broke Montreal's 32 consecutive penalty kills in a 5-1 win. So what are your guys' thoughts? Because I think that personally, with the last 3 years with game 1s, the people who win the game 1 always lose the series. So what do you guys think?
You want to start, Marcus?
Nah, you go. I want to hear what you think.
All right. So I don't think game 1 is indicative of how the series will go at all. But I think game 1, Montreal came out a little bit slow, a little bit flat-footed. Mm-hmm. They haven't played a team as fast as Tampa Bay and have as much depth as Tampa Bay. You look at a team like Vegas, I mean, they're very top-heavy. They have a great defense, solid goaltending, but their third and fourth line forwards aren't really up to par with Tampa Bay. No one can really compete with Tampa Bay in that aspect. So it was just Montreal trying to play catch-up there in the first period, especially with their legs. I think they got a little bit better as the game went on. Second period, it was about even. Third period, I think Montreal had them most of the period in their zone. I mean, the forecheck was great. They kept them in their zone for a long time. Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, all those guys did a great job. But Tampa Bay was just opportunistic.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like the same thing happened in game 1 against Vegas. Honestly, I felt like Montreal played very similar in that game as to what they did in this game. So I think next game, Montreal is definitely going to be coming in running. And I think I have them winning game 2.
I think Montreal is they need to get their stuff together because Price was, you could say he let in 5 goals, right? But I don't think a single one of those goals was him.
Oh, no.
I think he's the only one who wanted that game tonight. Nobody else wanted the game tonight. Everybody was too slow. The Lightning ran them amok. It was like a circus. And they were playing Ring Around the Rosie in the offensive zone. It was, oh my God, the only flaw Tampa Bay had, and I knew they would do this, the turnovers. The forecheck was working for Montreal. The turnovers turned to Vasilevsky going, snagged you away. It was beautiful how both of these goaltenders played, but Vasilevsky just had the better hand. And I mean, maybe Price felt the pressure coming into like his first Stanley Cup final, but I just think the entire Montreal Canadiens roster just like wet the bed. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put this. This is not the Canadiens team we've seen. I don't think they're frauds. I think they may bounce back, but Tampa Bay's so fast. I don't know how are you going to keep up with them?
Oh
You
yeah,
got
I agree.
bigger players.
Sergachev, you got Sergachev, who's like the Flash. You have Kucherov, Stamkos. You got a lot of fast guys on that team.
Yeah.
And I feel
how many
like,
hits?
and like you
Guess how many
said,
hits they had. Take a wild guess. Sorry I interrupted you, but guess how many hits they had in total. Take a wild guess, both of you.
oh, well, I reviewed the game, so
Damn it.
There was a total of like over 110 hits combined. So it was a very physical game between the two teams. Not Montreal didn't have like 110 hits, but
I loved it. I loved it. They went at each other. They were going at each other. It was the Stanley Cup final. This rivalry is going to be a rivalry going into the next season, but I wish it was the Bruins.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
you
go, Chris.
You were talking about how you think Carey Price was maybe feeling the pressure or whatever, but with the way I look at it, I mean, who from that Montreal team has even been to the Stanley Cup or won a Stanley Cup? I mean, Corey Perry was there last year, but has Eric Stahl ever won one?
I think he's. What was it? Carolina. I feel like he was there with Carolina. I want to say
he was there with Pittsburgh a couple times. I think maybe, or is that
Eric Stahl? No, that was Jordan Stahl.
Oh, okay.
I know there's too many stalls on the Hurricanes. I don't know.
But I mean, you know what I mean. Yeah. If I'm correct, I think it might have been only Corey Perry. I might be wrong though.
I mean, they have a good mix of like young guys, older guys, but I mean, even their older guys haven't really been on that big stage. Like Shea Weber's never really been there.
I thought Weber played okay, though.
I thought he did too. He's a very underrated guy because he doesn't put up like the points you'd expect from like a top tier defenseman, but he's so good in his own zone that like you just can't take that for granted. His stick's always in the right spot. He's so long. He's physical. It's hard to beat a guy like that.
Yeah.
And also, just for reference, Eric Stahl did play on the 2006 Carolina team.
That won?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
okay,
that's
it is only
reference.
2.
Anyways.
But yeah, I don't think that game 1 is going to really set a narrative for this series. I feel like it is going to be back and forth. And I know people are saying like, oh, Tampa in 5, Tampa in 6. I'm going Habs in 7, to be honest. I feel like the Habs can overtake the beasts that are Tampa Bay Lightning. Although I thought that about Dallas last year, but
maybe this is the time the evil empire of injustice is finally falling, because I know this team has what it takes. This looked like the regular season Canadians where everyone's like, oh, so-and-so didn't do this. Like nobody's on the same page. They'll get on the same page. I guarantee it. They just needed to. I feel like for Tampa, they just tried to blow them right out of the water and scare the living crap out of them. And Montreal was just like, all right, no, this is how we want to do it. All right, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. And I also feel like, wait, what?
You go first.
And I also feel like that something is very notable is Montreal can't keep taking penalties. And that's the big thing. Now, look, you can say the stuff about the 32 consecutive penalty kills. That's great and all. But the difference is between Vegas and Carolina, Winnipeg and Toronto's power plays. Tampa's is lethal as hell. I think it's probably the best power play in the NHL. So it doesn't matter how good of a penalty kill you have. You need to not take penalties.
Tape to tape.
Exactly.
Tape to tape.
I mean, I think in the NHL, it's hard to put any team on the power play. I always say that if you don't score on your power play, it was a failure, honestly. If you were up one guy on the ice, I've always felt that way. Even when I've played hockey, you have to score on power plays. You have to. It's like a role. And Tampa Bay has so many good players. Montreal knows they can't take penalties like that. They know they don't have the type of talent to be competing with them if they're putting them on the power play.
Just to remind everybody, Tampa Bay disrespected Montreal and put 5 offensive players on the power play. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, and I mean, they scored on it, though.
To be fair, you can't forget that Montreal, I'm pretty sure throughout the year, I could be wrong on this, but they were like at least top 5 in shorthanded goals. They were really good at getting shorthanded goals throughout the year.
Oh, I think you're right on that. Yeah, I think they did score a lot of shorthanded ones.
Yeah.
They just couldn't capitalize on the mistakes. There were too many mistakes Tampa Bay made for them to not score.
Yeah.
Too many.
You never want to play a guy down there. It's too hard on your goalie.
Exactly. And I just, one thing I also saw was like the guys who were pretty notable in the playoff series against the Knights and the Jets. They really weren't here tonight. A lot of guys didn't really show up, like Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, Kai Kanyemi. I didn't really see them showing up much. And that might have been just through my notes through the game review, but I didn't see anything of note from those
Don't worry,
guys.
Caulfield's living out the classic NHL be a pro life. First season rookie, you immediately get to the Stanley Cup final. We all know what happens every time. We all know we've all done that. We all know we've all done that. I know Chris has done it. I know I've done it several times. Trust me.
I think the first time I did that was in NHL 17 rookie mode, back when I was the worst player in the game, and
had to drop like 250 points, 300 points, breaking Gretzky's record.
Oh yeah,
rookie mode.
And 5 years later, I'm still on rookie mode, and good times.
Chris, what do you play on?
Any last minute takes here?
No, I want to know what Chris plays on.
Superstar.
Oh damn, I'm on pro. I'm just pro.
I gotta be on Superstar.
I'm on All-Star. I was exaggerating about the rookie thing.
I like to have a challenge, you see, but not too much of a challenge where it's like I take the puck and it's immediately like taken away from me. So
same with me. I feel like comparatively to the players that we play in EASHL, I mean, we're not trying to figure this off, but I feel like comparatively All-Stars kind of, same level, but anyways, before we veer off into an NHL 21 conversation, because that's who we are, any last minute predictions or thoughts on game one and what the rest of the series could hold?
Yeah, actually, I will take one. That fourth line from Montreal, I think it's Eric Stahl, Corey Perry, and they did have Armia, but I think they had Jake Evans.
Yeah, Jake Evans came in. I forgot to mention that.
I think if they put Armia back in there, which they should do, because they looked great in that night series. They dominated every single time. Like that was probably their best line, honestly.
Wait, so they sub back in Armin. What's his name? They sub back in Jake Evans for what's his name?
Armia.
Well, no, it's because Armia was going to play. He was in warmups. Yeah. And then I guess he was like, or I guess the management or the staff or him himself was like, yeah, no.
Let's put in Jake Evans.
So maybe Armia starts next game, but
probably should if they're used to it.
Another thing is he usually kills penalties. Armia is usually a penalty killer, and he's a threat shorthanded.
Yeah, he's usually on the PK. He's had a couple straight-handed goals.
Yeah.
I think in these playoffs alone, actually.
Yeah, he's a threat.
One or two. I'm not sure though. But anyways, I still think that Habs in 7. What do you think, CellyCenter? Who do you think is going to win? Or Chris?
My heart wants to say Habs in 7, but I think my brain and my mind is telling me Lightning in 6.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lightning win in that outcome. Marcus, I know you want Tampa to win, but who do you think will win outside of your biased standpoint?
I had originally before the series began, I had said Montreal in 7 because I had assumed that Tampa would be clumsy, but they are not really clumsy. So, I mean, I'm still going to say Montreal in 7, but if it's to the point where Tampa is like blowing them out like this and Carey Price cannot be the wall he is, we're probably going to see like Tampa in 5. If this is the rate that we're looking at it, I mean, like Tampa was, oh my God, dangerous. So I'm still going Montreal in 7, but the series may shift otherwise.
And I'll leave it at this. If game 2's anything like this sort of Tampa dominance, yeah, I think Tampa wins this in 5. I still believe Montreal will win 1 at home because that's just how the home fans are, but I don't see them winning. I just can't see it, to be honest. And that
I hate to interrupt you, but did you see how expensive those tickets are in Montreal?
oh yeah, they're more expensive than probably everything in my room right now.
I seen something. It was like you can fly to Tampa, watch and go watch games 1 and 2 for the same price it would be to stay in Montreal and buy 1 ticket for 1 game.
Oh, I believe that. And I mean, like,
$3,000.
I'm sure tickets are even more expensive than they were post-pandemic. And that's not just with Montreal and Tampa. That's with pretty much every team who allowed fans during the season.
Yep.
Because, less fans, more expensive. Keep on scamming us.
The game 3 tickets to even get into one of the front rows is $10,000 at the Centerville.
Yep.
$10K.
10K?
Yes, the least. It's almost sold out actually. If we could even try and get a seat, it would cost $4,000, and that's like at the top of the stadium. So
yeah,
I'm
we
not
wouldn't even
trying
be
to
able to see what's going on.
No, I'm not trying to see that.
Well, Habs fans are French millionaires, so. Okay, all right. Any Habs fan who watches this, that is not offensive at all. It's just a joke. Sure, a lot of Habs fans are great people. I know a lot of good Habs fans.
No,
that was just a joke. Marcus, you can say what you want.
no, they're not.
Maybe your Bruins fans are French millionaires or Boston
Irish millionaires.
Boston
Irish millionaires.
Get out of here. All right, we doing the water break or no?
Yeah, with that, we'll take a break. And
break.
in the next segment, we will get into
headlines,
New York Islanders and the Vegas Golden Knights future.
Why do you...
We're
all right,
friendly.
We are back. Marcus chugged the water or shoved it up his butt.
No, that's a lie.
Before recording, maybe I'll cut that out. But anyways,
sorry.
Maybe. Anyways, so we're gonna get into the New York Islanders and the Vegas Golden Knights future. We're gonna go with the Islanders first and then Vegas, because the Islanders may be a little bit more conversation. Vegas, they don't have that many because they're spoiled, and the Islanders have more. So first off, what are your guys' thoughts on them being eliminated just generally in 7 games by the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Chris, go.
I really had not seen too much of Tampa Bay in the first series. So when I started to watch that series, I mean, it really was just low scoring, gritty games.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the Islanders pretty much held their own. I think I wasn't expecting it, because watching that Pittsburgh series between them and the Islanders, I thought Pittsburgh was pretty dominant against them. So I thought going into that series, I thought it was going to be and then even against Boston, I thought the Islanders, Boston was really only rolling 2 lines. I was like, I don't know. Boston had some issues on the back end sometimes, and I just wasn't sure about the Islanders, but I thought they held their own. I thought they were pretty good. Matt Barzal, I think he proved himself to be a top 20, top 15 player in the NHL. The way he flies around the ice is unlike really any other player. Like Connor McDavid, he beats you with speed down the ice, but once he gets into the zone, he's not too much of a threat. He's more, pass and pass. Matt Barzal will skate around the zone 25 times before making a play. He really will. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But I think their depth needs a little bit of work. Having Matt Martin on your 4th line just isn't going to work in today's game, I don't think. I mean, I think even Vegas the same way. We're obviously going to get into them next, but having guys like Ryan Reeves and Matt Martin, I just don't think it's worth it anymore.
Yeah, I feel like more. I mean, we're not in Vegas, but I feel like Ryan Reeves has a better ground than Matt Martin. But yeah, I agree. I just feel like they kind of need. I mean, they don't need as much as Boston, but they need at least a little bit more depth. And yeah. I feel like with UFA's Kyle Palmieri and Travis Zajac, I think you want to keep them, to be honest. And look, I don't know if they can afford it. Let me see how much cap space.
$5 million.
$5 million in cap space. I don't know if they can afford all of the guys that they have there. And also, here's a big thing. They have Adam Pelech and Ilya Sorokin as RFAs. That's the other big thing.
Ooh.
They only have 5 million cap with those guys.
Who are they keeping is the question.
I mean, dude, Pellick and Pollock together, they shut down Crosby, Gensel, and Rust, which they all had 20 goals during the course of the year this year. So that's a great line that they shut down, and they continued to do that.
I say this. I'm looking at the list of UFAs, and I'm just going off cap friendly here. So Kyle Palmieri, UFA. Zajac, a UFA. Cizikas is a UFA. Michael Dal Cole, nobody cares about him. I don't even think he's on the team.
Oh,
RFA.
I forgot about Bavillier too. He's also an RFA.
So Bavillier is an RFA. Andy Green, RFA. Get the hell out of here. You're old as hell. Nobody knows who you are. And Sorokin's an RFA. No, he's old. He can't keep up. So here's what I think. You have 5 million. Sorokin's dumb enough and young enough to take a pay cut because he's young. So I mean, like, I don't know. You sign him to like 2 million, and then if Pellick's a nice guy, you give him 3. I don't.
It's tough. I don't know if Pellick's gonna take that. I think him and Pollock both. I think they proved that they're top 2 defensemen. You know.
Absolutely. I feel like there's just gonna be some pretty notable moves. I'm looking at the cap hits right here. Like, you got Anders Lee, you got Matthew Barzal, you got Brock Nelson at 6 mil, you got Eberle at 5.5, you got Peugeot at 5.
Oh man,
Josh Bailey at 5, you got Clutterbuck at 3.5, Komarov at 3, Martin at 1.5, and the man Ross Johnston at 1 mil. And as you said, physical guys like that. So I would think that I don't know.
This is a money.
This is so confusing.
This is a brain. This is like brain. Like, it hurts my brain. I was gonna say the F-bomb, but I'm not about that. Do you know the mind?
I had to make episode 2 explicit because I said the F word.
Do you know the mind F word on this right now? 7, 7, 6, 5, 5, 5, 3.
It's just it adds up, man. It really does.
Why do you have
That's just
why do you have why do you have a grit guy getting paid 3 million? You don't pay grit guys 3 million. You pay him like 1 mil.
It's just not gonna work. I mean, to be fair though, there are some guys that can do that, but usually your star players and your like top 6 guys have to be lower paid. You know what I mean? Your top 6 guys can't all be making 5 or 6 million. Like, it adds up way too quickly.
Unless you're the Bruins and you figure it out somehow.
Well, you guys only play your top 6 anyway. You guys don't play your 3rd and 4th line. It's the perfection line for 45 minutes of the game.
The rest of the team sucks.
And yeah, I mean, like, GM of the Year award winner, and we can get into the argument of, oh, he shouldn't have won it. Lou Lamoriello, he's going to have some big questions. So, I mean, like, you probably move Komarov. I don't know, because like a lot of these guys were good in the playoffs.
Pick 2 guys who you keep out of this list. Pick 2 guys right now. Go.
2 guys who you keep?
Yeah, because like if it's 5 million, there's a chance you do like a 2 and 3 mil thing. I don't know. Pick 2 guys who you would keep at the 5 million. Go.
I'd probably keep Sorokin. I don't know. Like, that's tough.
They already got Vermalov though. So I mean, do you really want 2 goaltenders?
Yeah, but he's 33.
Well, the thing is, they have time to sign these guys. Guys like Green and Coburn,
Say goodbye.
Have limited more time and Palmieri as well. They have limited time. So, they have more time to sign those guys. So I don't really know, to be honest. I would probably take Pellick and Bavillier.
Yeah.
But then again, Sorokin, look at what he did in his rookie year. It's really complicated. It's going to be interesting.
I'm taking Pellick and Sorokin because you want that young goaltending that can like be reliable because what's his face? Varlamov is old. He's getting old. All right, he's aging. You're gonna need that young goaltending to step up. Trust me when I tell you, you always want a young guy who's like fit and like young and quick. And Sorokin's that guy. And you've put him in situations where he can lock up. And I mean, Pellick, he's 26. All right. You know what I'm saying? He did pretty good, as Chris said. I mean, it's a tough choice, but your offense is good as it is, but you just got to figure out your damn money. I don't know why you have so many guys getting paid 5 million. I don't know I don't know what's going on here.
You honestly, you almost convinced me there because I was just thinking back, and I mean, you look at the past 5 years of Stanley Cup winners, the Penguins twice, Matt Murray, the Blues, Jordan Binnington, Vasilevsky. Like, I mean, they're all younger guys. I know Vasilevsky obviously wasn't in like his rookie year, but Matt Murray and Jordan Binnington, rookie year goaltenders, all these young goaltenders.
This is why I wanted to move to Rask and put Jeremy Swayman in. Just wanted to put that out there. Because I'm just saying the young goaltenders are in. And if I go back to 2006, I believe Cam Ward was a rookie.
Yeah.
Cam Ward was a rookie. I believe
Yeah.
that Tiny Thompson, a Boston Bruin, won a Stanley Cup in his rookie
in the
season.
1930s, though, Marcus.
Okay, but still, it's young goalies. It's young goaltenders who get it done. It's young goalies who take you all the way. Vasilevsky's like 26, young. If my goalie's under the age of like 28, I'm putting him in. I'm just saying it's like a luck thing for me. And I don't really believe in luck, but it's a luck thing for me. You keep Sorokin. The guy, you don't let him walk. Anybody would take him. I would take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I mean, he shut down. Look at what he did to the Penguins. I think the Penguins had a really well-constructed roster from top to
40
bottom.
shots a game.
I mean, you're putting 48 shots on Sorokin, and he's letting in all but 2 of them. I mean, that's just ridiculous. They put in Varlamov for 1 game, and we torched him. It was bad. So I see what you're saying. You kind of convinced me there, honestly, because I was gonna say Beauvillier and then Pelech, but I don't know. Maybe you do go Sorokin.
I wouldn't let a talent like Sorokin walk. I would not let a talent like Sorokin walk. Young goalies are like like trends. Young goalies are a trend. All right. I'm hopping on that trend, bro. I am signing this man. Wait. Yeah, I'm signing this man. He's 25. He is. Oh, those young ones. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't say that ever again. That's going to get clipped and taken out of context.
Stop. Listen.
Especially with the stuff that I clip. Absolutely.
It's over.
Okay. Can we please, viewers, please have some Jesus. Okay. Do not take anything out of context. Sorokin is young blood, bro. He's awesome, man. I would keep him 100%. Just saying. Continue. Go. I'm gonna stop talking before I rip something out.
All right. So, anyways, as well as that, I mean, you also got Johnny Boychuk. It doesn't say LTIR here though. It says only IR on Cap Friendly. Making
Johnny
$6
Boychuk?
million, as a retired, and then you have the buried penalty, which is also taking up some of your cap from Ladd and Hickey. So that's a problem. And I was looking at it while you guys were having discussions about what you should and shouldn't say on this podcast. I think Nick Leddy could also be maybe a guy that you might want to move. But then again, he wasn't terrible in the playoffs. But then again,
he's valuable.
You got some depth.
Yeah.
Under that defense. So
he's valuable.
They might, I'm not sure. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but they might have a defensive prospect somewhere in that system. I'm not sure.
Wait, Wallstrom's a forward.
Wallstrom's a forward. He'll come up next year for them, and that could probably be your replacement for like a Beauvillier or something, or a Palmieri.
Mm-hmm. I don't see anything down in their minor league system that is notable unless Robin Salo is I've never heard of him. Defenseman of the future. I don't think they have anyone, but I feel like they have enough depth with the young guys. And just looking from here, he's the oldest person that's under contract in the next season, besides Green and Coburn, who aren't. So I think maybe you do move him out, and then maybe you give Robin Salo a chance. Never know.
Legend.
I don't know who this is.
Future 99 overall in Chell.
My God.
Who? I do have a question though. Who would be the oldest person on their roster if they were to move Nick Leddy?
Oh, well, he's only 30 years old on, you mean the blue line?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be Scott Mayfield, 28 years old.
Okay.
So I'd say their blue line's fairly young. When you
Yeah, once you
take
get rid of
Leddy out
Andy
of the,
Green.
well, even
Yeah, I
Leddy's,
figured.
Yeah.
Should we move on to Vegas?
Yeah. Final thing to wrap that up. If you have any ideas or scenarios on how the Islanders can do it, can solve this, DM any of us. We would love to know, because honestly, we're kind of confused at how they're going to figure this out. So, and I mean, you can also let us know in the comments below. Maybe we'll answer them or not, because, All right. Anyways, let me load up Cap Friendly here and let me swap over.
I sworn next year was going to be their year. I'm just saying.
Who, the
Until I
Islanders?
saw the cap space. I could have sworn next year was going to be their year.
I never count them out because of Barry Trotz. I mean, to me, the best coach in the NHL, without question. Me being a Penguins fan, I've watched him beat my team like 5 years in a row now. I'm kind of sick of him. I hate seeing that minion-looking bastard behind the bench, honestly.
Oh my God, he does.
That's a good one. I love that. All right. Anyways, before we talk more about Barry Trotz and Islanders fans will come raining on our party.
Assemble the minions.
All right. Let's get into the Vegas Golden Knights. The Golden Knights, they lost against the Montreal Canadiens by a score of 4-2 in the season series. To be honest with you, I thought they played fairly well, to be honest, in those 6 games. They did. I feel like Fleury and the Leonard conversations, there's all that, but I feel like they played okay.
Still an L. Still a fat L. I don't know what happened to Montreal. I don't know what happened with Vegas, but we all thought they were favorites. Actually, no. I'm gonna stop myself. I knew Vegas was gonna choke. They always choke. They suck. They choke every year. They could have like Jack Eichel and they still would choke. I'm sorry. I'm just saying they choke it every year, and there's just teams that just can't do it. Vegas cannot do it, and they won't do it for
brought
years
up
to
the
come.
possibility of Jack Eichel going to Vegas because of the lack of center depth. I would lose my mind.
Especially because they're exempt from the expansion draft. It makes it even worse. Honestly, I'd be pretty eager.
Exactly.
Hell.
They would I mean, like, combine Buffalo's stupidity with Vegas's smartness.
Yeah.
They can make a move where it would be like, I mean, like, they would probably have to trade like a good amount because Buffalo's dumb, but not that dumb. Like, let's say they trade Cody Glass, Peyton Krebs,
a first round pick. Like they have the capital. Like they do. They're stacked up here.
Now, although we would lose our minds if that happened, we would they do not have enough cap space for Eichel's 12 million, I think it is. 10 mil?
Yeah, it's 10 mil.
10
yeah.
Mil.
They
And
don't
they
have enough cap space. Although they have $6 million. So anyways, UFAs for the Vegas Golden Knights. And look, this makes me annoyed. In the bottom, they have a decent amount. But what makes me pretty annoyed and makes me pretty jealous is that in the top main roster, they only have 3. And they're all depth and rental guys. Thomas Nosek. I thought he played well in the playoffs. I think he will get a contract offer. Matthias Janmark as well. Maybe. I don't know. You guys can.
I keep Janmark.
Jump in on that. Yeah, I thought he played well.
I'd keep him.
He seemed good after. What was he traded from? What was it? Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
You also got to remember he got hurt. I think early in the Colorado series. I think he got hit into the boards and was out for like a game or two, and then ended up coming back. But before that, there was a game where he had a hat trick. I forget who they were playing when he had a hat trick, but I remember him getting one, and I was like, really, Janmark? But yeah, I mean, he's one of those solid depth guys. I think he does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I agree as well. And then the final one is on the blue line, and I've heard talks from Elliot Freeman and a couple of other insiders saying that he is not coming back to Vegas. Alec Martinez. And I literally knew that was coming too. I knew Marcus was gonna be like, yes, because of his Bruins.
That's juicy. That's juicy right there. He's only 33. That's juicy right there. I'm not gonna get into my Bruins rant, but still, that's juicy right there on the market. That he is gonna go on the market, and oh my god, he is gonna get bank. I tell you, bro. But if they lose him, like that's gonna suck. This guy played through a broken foot. He played through a broken foot.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up as well. He played with a broken foot in the playoffs and still looked pretty good.
You don't know the thing.
Didn't he score a goal? Or am I wrong? I'm pretty sure he scored a goal.
He got a couple assists.
This is playoff hockey. We're playing for a freaking 35-pound metal cup, and you're playing on a broken foot. People, do not underestimate hockey players ever again. Do not tell me that any other sport is tougher because these players are on broken foots, scoring goals. Carry on.
He had a broken foot, and people forget that Alec Martinez is one of the best shot blockers in the NHL, without question. Every single year, he's been doing it since he was with LA. Even with a broken foot, he was stepping in the way of pucks consistently. That's just a guy that has the heart and the will to win games. I don't know how much he's going to get paid in free agency. I don't know what the market is for a guy like him. I really don't.
He's experienced, though. He's experienced. And
I mean,
he's a mentor, and yet he still puts up, I think he had like 9 goals, 23 assists. Like, for me, stats aren't everything, but those are still numbers at such an old age. Well, 33 isn't such an old age, but yes, it's experience. He's got cups under his hands. He knows he's been there. That's what you want. And yet he can still produce at a high level. He's got the height and everything. He's valuable. He's going to be pole dancing for all these teams. Whoever's going to want him most.
He is a big defensive target for not just the Bruins, but he better be for the Flyers, because I will burn down my house if he isn't. Anyways, aside from Martinez, there's a lot of guys down in the minors that I'm sure they'll sign. Patrick Brown, Thomas Jerko, Danny O'Regan, Dylan Sakura, Carl Dahlstrom, Dylan Coughlin. Those are just to name a few. And then I also heard, this made me kind of annoyed because I really like him. They look like they are going to part ways with Oscar Dansk.
Yeah.
Their third string goalie. Well, not really their third string. Maybe. One of their depth goalies for the minor team, Henderson, who also is good as well, because of course they are. So, we'll see where he goes with that. But yeah, that's pretty much Vegas's offseason.
I think they have it easier. They have it way easier with that exempt. Way easier than anybody else.
Oh, yeah.
God, how do you get that lucky?
Imagine if they weren't exempt. They would have to either make the decision to protect Leonard or Fleury. I would go with Fleury, but
I don't know. Fleury's what? Coming up on
36.
37.
Leonard's 29. And he's like, what, 6'5" and an absolute mammoth.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm also gonna say this. Imagine, bro, I don't know how lucky Vegas can get, but this is some conspiracy right here. Bettman, and Evan knows I'm about this. Bettman is corrupt as hell, bro. There's no way he wants hockey to stay like good in Vegas. He wants it good there. You know why? Money. Why else would you? Like, it's hot weather, beautiful, new team, great team. Get hockey over there, just like hockey's good in Tampa, because we know everybody in Tampa vacations down there. The rich ass hockey fans go down there. Oh, I'm totally a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. No, you aren't. You live in Minnesota, and your business is like good enough to like summer in Tampa Bay. Oh, would you look at that? Tampa Bay's in the Stanley Cup final. Sorry, that's a little rant, but still, people are going to like hot weather hockey teams that are good, and Vegas is one of them. So Bettman's not going to let them Like take anybody. There is no way. There's no other good reason, like innocent reason why you kept them off. Why you kept them off the expansion draft. They have so many good players. And yet, I don't know. You might as well take off Buffalo. Nobody would care. Because they got nobody. Just saying.
I'm smelling a boxing match between Gary Bettman and Marcus, honestly.
Hey, yes. I want to see that. Oh my goodness. I would literally sponsor that. I would put all my money that I've made in the past 2 years into that bank.
I don't know what people see good in him. I just don't. There's just some about him. I have like this
He's
thing
awful.
where do you ever have that thing where you just like, somebody you don't like them? I have that with Batman. You just look at him and you're just like, yeah, no, I don't like him at all. I don't.
Honestly, if Gary Bettman's watching this, you should step down, honestly, because you're awful. But anyway, like the guy he's terrible at advertising. I mean, like you look at all these other sports, NBA, NFL, like people, even if you're not a fan of the sport, you still know they're star players because they advertise so well. Like half these people don't know who Sidney Crosby are and like who Connor McDavid is. They just don't know who these guys are.
Because there's no commercial, because hockey's not an individual sport. And what I think they should start doing is be like, oh, look at McDavid. Oh, look at Barzell. And I think with ESPN, he did do a good job with ESPN, because ESPN, I think, will make Connor McDavid like LeBron James every time. Oh, Connor McDavid ate a sandwich. Let's look inside his house. Just like LeBron. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, we will see a lot more of that. We'll probably see a turnaround in the marketing. But I mean, so with Bettman's tenure, everyone's like, nobody cares about hockey. The majority of the population is like, nobody cares about hockey. And once you get into it, it's like, yeah, it's great. But like, you need to start marketing better. I mean, he may take a turnaround, but we still don't like you. We just don't. He
started the whole hockey is for everyone thing. And I think it was a good idea. But whenever he tried to brand it to solely like gay pride and things like that, you can't do that. You got to look at the wider audience. You have to, if you're saying hockey is for everyone, it legitimately has to be for everybody.
Everyone.
It has to be the African-American population. It has to be Asians, it has to be everybody. You have to expand.
I'm not into like the politics or anything of it, but I'm just saying when it says everybody and then you're just like a rainbow, it's just like, no, you're just basically saying hockey's for the gays. I'm just saying.
He was trying to market on what was hot in the moment, right? Because that's what was going on. And that's been the big thing lately is, gay rights and things like that, which it's a great thing, obviously. But you can't market and bank on just that. It's a market thing. You know what I mean? It's not really for the good of the game.
I agree. So is that what we got left? Concluding the Bettman.
Shout out to Jamal Burgundy for the first openly gay hockey player with the gay pride flags waving at Madison Square Garden every time he scores or makes a pass to, well, I believe his most recent pass and score last I watched was Capo Caco. So yeah, the gay pride flags are flying in Madison Square Garden, and thanks to Jamal Burgundy.
Yeah, and I'll leave it at this. We're not gonna get into that stuff too much because we know. But I just want to say, like, to the people who come out in sports, like, I gotta hand it to you. Like, in any sport, it's not just hockey, NFL, baseball, table tennis, like whatever. Anyways, no one thought that was funny. What the heck?
I thought it was good.
Okay. But yeah, anyone who comes out, my props to you, or my respect for you is through the roof, and I'm sure that's how it is for everyone here.
I agree completely. Hopefully it gets to the point where we don't need to
make it like a big deal.
Make it an announcement. It doesn't have to be a big thing. I mean, I have my ex-girlfriend turned gay. Obviously, I support her. I have a couple gay cousins. I support them. And I just want everybody to be happy. I think that's the main goal at the end of the day.
Yes. Yes. Happiness. Easy.
All right. Are we done with the Vegas Golden
Yes.
Knights and the Gary Bettman and all that other things?
We went from Vegas. We went from Vegas
Yes.
to Bettman to gay. I don't know how that happens, but that's a conversation beauty.
This podcast is one of the weirdest things I've ever partook in. Anyways, as we kind of wrap this up, because currently right now, I don't know what time it is for you guys. I think you're all on the East Coast, right?
Yes.
It's currently like 12:30, so we're kind of going to go through. We'll wrap it up with some stuff that happened since the last podcast, and then we'll get into a conversation that Marcus wanted to get into regarding Joe Biden. JT Brown retired from pro hockey, became a color analyst for the Seattle Kraken. That's great, to be honest. Matt Nieto re-signed with the San Jose Sharks for 2 years. Let me scroll up here. 8-0. Nice. Lou Lamoriello, as we mentioned, won GM of the year. Up here, Carl Gunnarsson retired. I remember him notably, and Marcus, you're going to get rattled by this, but I remember him from game 2 of the overtime where he scored the OT winning goal, and I remember the announcer screaming, "Boom, boom, Gunnarsson." I don't know if any remember that. Not Mark Messier. Patrice Bergeron won the Mark Messier Leadership Award, so we went from something bad about Boston to something good about Boston. Dave Haxtell, speaking of more Seattle Kraken news, was named the head coach of the team, and if we had more time, we would go more in depth with this. But honestly, as someone who's a Flyers fan, I feel like he'll be okay. Although I thought there were more better options out on the market for him. And also, by the way, the expansion draft will be on July 21st.
Episode.
Blake Lizotte signed with the Los Angeles Kings for a year, $800K. Canadians advanced. Trent Fredericks re-signed with the Boston Bruins for 2 years with 1.05 average annual value. Got to have that depth. We mentioned before in an earlier episode that he's good grit and, for this Bruins team. Parted with Oscar Donsk. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through a puck report here. Look, I know this is regarding the sexual allegation stuff. This stuff is fucked up. And look, I'm going to have to make this explicit because I said that. But genuinely, this stuff is fucked up. And also, yes, that too. Rip, David Pastrnak's son.
That's tragic.
Yeah,
it was so sad. I woke up at I'm sorry, I have to say this. I woke up at 6 a.m. I walked downstairs. I opened my phone. I just saw toes, and I saw David Pastrnak said "Oh, it must be Pastrnak's baby. What happened?" And I just see the date. That kid was 6 days old.
Yeah, that's terrible. Honestly, it's terrible.
Prayers up to Pastrnak, man.
Another thing that's also terrible is the allegations. That stuff's screwed up.
Oh, yeah.
I listened to Spin Chicklets, and they talked about how apparently the Chicago Blackhawks gave a good reputation about this guy after he sexually assaulted 2 of the players in the 2009-2010. And he went on to coach in high school. And now I'm hearing about allegations that he had with a high school girl. It's so screwed up. And we're not going to get into it here because I have no idea when the Zoom meeting is going to end because my trial is up. So, yeah. We'll go through here. Kraken announced they will have the Charlotte Checkers as their AHL affiliate for the 2021-2022 season. And then this is what I want to end it with this. Connor Garland. So I don't know if you guys saw this.
Jesus, here we go.
Per Frank Saravelli on TSN, the Coyotes asked Connor Garland's agent to put together some salary proposals. He presented them 2 different options. That was on May 20th. May 20th, a month ago.
Connor Garland.
The Coyotes haven't answered. And they haven't even picked up the phone to even acknowledge they received them. And then I read this part, and this part made me want to cry. That signals to me for a guy that was already on the trade block that they have no interest in keeping them. So CellyCenter or Chris, I don't know if you know, but I'm a Flyers and Coyotes fan.
He loves Connor.
I don't know if you knew that, but this makes me mad because he is probably your best young player coming up for this Arizona Coyotes team, and you're just gonna let them go like this. We're not gonna get into it too much because I have no idea when it's gonna end. But
Yeah, I have one thing to say. I think and I know you like the Coyotes, but they're a pretty dumpster fire of an organization at the moment.
Absolutely.
I mean, what happened with their what they were doing with the prospects and things like that, and I mean, you trade for a guy like Phil Kessel, and he's what, a -20 now. I mean, they're just going in the wrong direction.
Hot dog boy.
I figured like the prospect thing and Chayka leaving last season. I thought like, oh, that's gonna be the end of the road of this wrong stuff. I thought Bill Armstrong was gonna come in here and make a good mark on the team, and he did. He signed Ben McCartney, who was pretty well in the prospect leagues. He signed Liam Kirk, who's like my favorite player now. Yeah, like good prospects he signed. And I mean, I don't think he made any trades. And then he does, and then this happens, and I'm like, what the heck? Yeah. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Reports from the Toronto Maple Leafs, there's nothing finalized, but word is Toronto's working on an extension with Wayne Simmons, who's a former Philadelphia Flyer.
Go.
Good physicality. It sounds positive from what I've heard. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's good to see.
Go.
Some stuff with offer sheet compensation. Don't really understand that too much. And then with this as well, the expansion draft, by the way, for the Seattle Kraken is July 21st. The draft is Friday, July 23rd. And then we got some stuff regarding the Winter Classic and some stuff for next season. The Winter Classic for 2022 is going to be between the Minnesota Wild and the St. Louis Blues. So that's pretty interesting. The All-Star Week is going to be in Las Vegas for 2022, which, by the way, EA Sports, if you're listening, add that to NHL 21, please.
Skills competition, do it.
I agree. Please do it. I should be the voice of NHL 21.
Oh.
And in for the Stadium Series, it's going to be in Nashville. So they're going to go from Dallas to Nashville, if I'm not mistaken, or from Lake Tahoe to Nashville, however you want to do it. It's going to be between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Nashville Predators. Also, NHL 21 or EA Sports, put that in the game. That would be great as well. I wouldn't complain.
I agree.
And also, the 2022 draft is going to be held in Montreal because it's held in Montreal every year. And then this is it. This will be the final thing we discuss. Some Gary Bettman press conference notes. Helmet ads are here to stay, which I am not minding. No jersey ads next season. Regarding the Olympics, time is running short. Don't know yet about the NHL participation. Hope there is a resolution soon. So maybe that's good or bad news, depending on how you look at it. The NHL looked at the Kucherov LTIR, and I also want to get into this too. If this was your own team, like let's say this was Marcus's team that was spending 18 million, or this was Chris's team that was spending over 18 million.
I'd call him stupid.
Would y'all be complaining?
I'd call him stupid because we would literally be in debt or whatever. I'd be like, you're stupid.
People are saying that it was rigged, and I'm like, how? Like they're cheating? Like that?
Here's their punishment. No, here's their punishment. Just quickly, let me say this because I want to get into the Biden comments with the Canadian president. The Lightning. Here's the Lightning's punishment. At the end of the day, they are going to be in a dumpster fire. All right, let them win all they want now. They're going to be in a dumpster fire. So that's the only punishment they need. This is going to be the shortest evil empire of injustice ever.
And we'll get into the Lightning future in a later podcast. But anyways, there will be no compliance buyouts this offseason. And I also want to talk about something else too before we get into the rest of the stuff. Low offer sheets with the flat cap are going to screw teams. Just going to say that. The league hopes to go back to Carolina for a Stadium Series at some point. 2-game series will be increased, more likely in division. Not extending the playoff format or expanding playoff format.
That's for a later episode.
Not a front burner issue, which I don't really mind unless if you change the seating. I don't really see why expanding the playoffs.
I mean, maybe they were thinking play-in games, like how they do it in the NBA, where they added more teams and have them play play-in games.
No.
Maybe.
No.
I don't really know.
He copies the NBA all the time.
I think he's on some sort of board with the NBA. I'm pretty sure he has something to do with the NBA, Gary Bettman.
Oh, definitely. He's trying to he's a copycat of the NBA, which I
No
mean,
play-in tournament. No, there's so much competitiveness. You don't need a play-in tournament.
I agree completely.
and
But
look,
I mean,
to be honest, sorry, Chris, if the NBA, if the NHL gets as much coverage as the NBA, if Bettman can somehow do that, I won't complain. But anything else, no.
Oh,
I think maybe he's looking at a team like Montreal, where if they were in any other division, they wouldn't have made the playoffs, and now they're in the Stanley Cup. So I mean, maybe that's where it's coming from, but I have no idea. Maybe that's what would be his incentive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And then the final thing we'll get into before we put this podcast to an end, which, by the way, guys, this has been a lot of fun. Justin Trudeau, the president or whatever
Prime
of
Minister.
Canada, said 2 of the best teams in the NHL are facing off right now. How about a friendly wager at POTUS, which is Biden's Twitter? He said, #GoHabsGo. And then Joe Biden retweets that and says, "You're on, pal. #GoBolts." We're not going to get into anything political. Besides, I wanted to bring up this comment that said, how about the wager is both resign after the Stanley Cup?
Oh, Jesus.
And I was
here's what the
I
wager
get
is.
behind that.
Here's the wager. Here's the wager, right? Here's what I think the wager is. Winner gets Alaska. Winner gets Alaska. Winner gets Alaska.
Nobody lives there anyway. There's like a population of 5.
But still, though.
Or from Jesse Pinkman.
It's either winner gets Alaska. You guys can chime in. I think the wager is they were on the phone. They're like, all right, winner gets Alaska. Or they're like, nah, if we win, if Biden says if we win, we finally get Montreal. But if we lose, you guys can have Florida. And I would take that. That's a win-win because Florida's Florida. So
I would love if they put the Stanley Cup final, if they put Alaska on the line for the Stanley Cup final. That would be great.
That would be great.
If you can Florida, take Florida. You can take Florida from us, and then you could just be like Florida man in the Canadian news all the time. Florida man, whatever. Montreal man, whatever. But I think it's gonna be Alaska. I don't know about you boys, but Alaska's on the line.
That would be amazing though. And then let's say like maybe Canada gives up Prince Edward Island or like Newfoundland or anywhere around there.
I would want Newfoundland. Because I think I would want Halifax just to have that postal like port, and then we could just take away some of that good old trade. I don't know.
Oh yeah, from Goon.
My AP history is kicking in. But I'm just saying, like, if there's anything you would put on the line, and I really want them to do this, please do not just make it money. Put Alaska on the line.
Yes.
This will make. Do you know how much hockey will grow if you put?
It really would. Though. I mean, there's probably a lot of legal like stipulations going on with it. I don't know how that would all work, but I mean, for growing the game of hockey, it would be unbelievable. Like it would be all over the news. People would be going crazy.
It would also grow Alaska too.
Honestly,
visit Alaska, kept by the United States thanks to the Tampa Bay Lightning, or like the greatest news ever, the Cinderella story. The Canadians win the Stanley Cup final. Justin Trudeau makes deal to Joe Biden sends.
They shake hands at the border between Alaska and Canada.
You guys deal with the Russians. You guys deal with the Russians. You guys can have fun with that. We don't want it, and that'll be like the greatest moment in the 2020s. I don't care.
That's American history, honestly. American history, Canadian history.
And that would boost patriotism. Like, no, we want Alaska.
Forget when we declared our independence. That would be the greatest moment in American history.
There's gonna be movies about this. The hockey game that saved Alaska. The hockey game that saved. Wait, there's already a hockey movie about Alaska. So like,
and this is Mystery Alaska. But this is the podcast that proposed the idea. Came from us.
Yes.
If the
I
presidents are
I got to
watching
get in
this,
touch with either Joe or Justin Trudeau there.
I'll talk to my sponsors.
Yeah.
if Joe Biden sends, I might write an article about this. If Joe Biden puts Alaska on the line, greatest wager of all time,
Yes,
of all
absolutely.
time. And if the Canadians win it, it'll be the greatest Cinderella story and the greatest headline ever. But still, though, it's a win-win regardless. Because for the United States, it's a win-win for us. For Canada, it's a win-win. Who cares? It's fun. Nobody cares about Alaska. You're only switching the dollars and the maple syrup, right?
Yep.
I think. So let's end it on that.
Yeah. This is a lot of fun. So I'd like to thank CellyCenter for coming out, aka Chris. His plugs will be down below. Definitely go follow them. I'll definitely go follow him. But yeah,
No
thank
problem.
you for
I
coming
appreciate
on,
you guys for having me.
We
It
love
was
you,
fun.
Chris.
I had a lot of fun. I enjoy talking hockey. I don't get to do it very much, so it's fun to come on here.
And
We'll
yeah,
have you
if
as
you
a
want to
third voice.
come for a later episode, we're not complaining. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Although-
sounds good.
Although this is going to be a crybaby for me to edit. Actually, I don't think I need to edit anything really. I think I can just upload this plain
Straight up.
because I don't think
Yeah,
there's anything that like, yeah. All right.
I think you're pretty good. I
That
think
puts
you're
me in a
to
good
go.
mood. So I appreciate everyone for watching. If you stuck around to the end, you get a cookie. You can also get my zip code as well on 18960. Just kidding. That's not my zip code. Marcus, don't look it up. Anyways, thank y'all for coming out. Really do appreciate it. And
Playoff hockey.
playoff hockey right there.
Playoff hockey.
See y'all in the next podcast.
See ya.
Adios.
Peace.